Hey, this is Vanessa Salmon, and this is my 618 final. And the site I'm going to talk about is a site called St. Child. It is a residential home for young women who've experienced complex acute trauma and are pregnant and or parenting. This is young women between the ages of 14 and 21. And I worked here and did all my undergrad practicum hours here because it was one of the few places that I could identify that did, in fact, practice models that reflected the recovery movement model. And two of those I'll talk about here. One was a positive youth development model, which was really stressed at all of our meetings that we had with staff. And in this model, there's a lot of focus on building on strengths. There's a lot of focus on supporting resiliency and protective factors that would increase resiliency. A lot of focus on looking at individuals as whole persons, so non-medicalizing, non-pathologizing. I found this deeply refreshing a couple of years ago and still do, and definitely feel like those reflect a recovery model of practice. Another way was mapping, which Gearhart in her 2012 article talks about, really honing in on a client's community and sense of belonging and relationships within those communities and that sense of belonging, and doing the best we can to strengthen those. So those are the ways that this site really reflected this model. And I think my understandings from this class, really a lot of them have come from your lectures, Naveed, one of which you stated that really you don't have a whole lot of interest in saying what recovery should look like for another person, and that sort of hit me like a ton of bricks, because I think it gets overlooked and overseen a lot, and there are a lot of helping professions in which we are dictating what recovery looks like, and that's not necessarily a recovery model of practice. So I think it's important to remember that while we exist in all these culturally embedded discourses that Vivian Burr talks about in her book, 1995, it's really important to maintain curiosity about those discourses and those dominant narratives, and to continue to explore how those are influencing the people that we help and their relationship with these discourses, and the ways in which we can get to an alternative discourse that is helpful and can help the people that we live and work with find meaning. And so one of the things I'd do differently at St. Child is I would integrate what Monk and Hancock in their 2015 conference talked about with peer support specialists. So I think having women who had been through something very similar and gotten through it come in and partner with the young women in the house would be really helpful, because I think it would hone in on that expert knowledge that we believe in this profession that everybody has and should be able to tap into and share. So that's my 3 minutes. Thank you very much.